Okay, stick with me. You know how in Dumbo, he only thought he could fly because of the feather, but it turned out in the end, he had the abilities sort of locked away inside of himself the whole time? Well, Kamila Gornia is a marketing strategist specialized in helping entrepreneurs blow up and scale up their businesses by leveraging their own natural personalities. She's been online marketing since she was 12, so if you're interested to hear a fresh, fun, and new exciting way to take on online marketing, you're definitely going to want to stay tuned to this episode of the Peak Performers Podcast.
Welcome to this edition of Peak Performers Podcast with your host, Thor Conklin. Thor will be sharing the necessary tools, strategies, and psychology you'll need to become a peak performer in any area of your life or business.
Thank you so much for joining us today. I know the audience is going to get so much out of it. This is the topic that I absolutely love. But I first have to start with, you started your first marketing company at age 12?
So it wasn't a marketing company. It was like a venture that I did. It was my first website that I created. Yeah, because I was doing marketing, but I didn't really know that's what marketing was. Okay. So I started with marketing when I was 12, but I started doing marketing professionally later in my life. Okay.
Because when I was 12, we had like Lincoln Logs. You know, I'm dating myself a little bit, but, you know, we didn't have online. We didn't even have an online. It didn't exist. I was talking to somebody recently. I said, when we wanted to learn something, we went to the library and we got these things called books.
I love books. Books are amazing, but it was right around when we started getting computers and dial-up internet was just starting to like become a thing in Poland. So I just kind of dove right in as an only child. What else am I going to do?
A little trivia here. You know why they used to call them floppy disks?
Why?
They were actually floppy. They were about 9 inches box or a square. They were 9 inches wide and long, and they were floppy. And they were floppy. Yeah, you put them in a computer.
There's only like 3 megabytes you could put on each one. I remember when I was learning computers, it was like the coolest thing ever.
Yeah, now people like today are like floppy disk. What's a floppy disk? CDs are going by the way. Well, let's dive into this because I love the area that you're in. So many entrepreneurs struggle with this whole online marketing. Now, I'm 53. I've been in it for some time. And it seems like that generation that seems 40 and above just doesn't embrace it as much as Gen Xers do. Mm-hmm. Tell us, what's your advice for us old guys?
Well, that is a great question. And I actually have a lot of clients that I work with that are they're 40s, 50s, and I really don't think it's a matter of age. I think it's a matter of openness. So I'm thinking of a particular client, and obviously the learning curve is a little bit different because it's a whole new, especially new platforms, it's a little bit different. But when you approach it from the perspective of, how can I simplify this? How can I actually make this and start using this in a way that works for me particularly versus trying to learn everything there is out there? So I really find that the biggest problem that happens for anybody that isn't very technology based or marketing focused or minded rather, they try to they go through these courses and these huge programs that teach them all the things. And a lot of these courses that are out there, they try to turn people into marketing people. But if you're an entrepreneur, you don't necessarily need to become a marketing person. You just need to understand how to use marketing for you. And when you understand how to simplify things and kind of take it one step at a time, typically I recommend someone to actually work with another real human being that tells them what to focus on. It becomes much easier.
Yeah, and I think what happens also, there's a mindset of, okay, now I've got to fit this into everything else that I'm doing, as opposed to integrating it within the company and the systems that you're already using.
Right.
One of the things that I think makes it more difficult from a lot of entrepreneurs' perspectives is it's always changing. Once you kind of got it like that, it's like, okay, I studied what Google wants as far as the analytics. They changed it. Now what do I do? So there's so much to keep up on, and that's why it's a great space to be in, because next month there's going to be some new stuff. Let's dive into that a little bit and talk to us a little bit about Let's take Facebook, for example. How has that landscape changed? We're doing this recording in the beginning of February 2017. What's the landscape like right now?
So I am huge on Facebook ads. So this is typically where the biggest changes happen for advertisers and the clients that I work with. But in general, Facebook, I feel like as a platform, they change things all the time. I mean, currently we have free Facebook. I mean, I don't know, maybe someone's listening 2 years into the podcast from now on. At the current time, we have free Facebook groups that are pretty trendy right now, and they're kind of starting to be almost past their peak. That's my perception, at least. Lots of people are using free Facebook group as a source, as a way of advertising themselves for quote unquote free. So that's a big thing that's happening. People are just, in general, entrepreneurs, artists, leaders. A lot of them are using Facebook as a way to connect with others, and a lot of them are using the personal profile to really use that. And the big thing that's happening right now is Facebook Live. So live streaming on your profile, your page, your group, I mean, all over the place. Facebook is really loving that. So it's serving your live streams to more people. Now, how is that going to change? Who knows? They honestly keep changing everything all the time. They just recently introduced Messenger ads. So you can actually see an ad, a regular Facebook ad on your newsfeed. And if you click on that, you can basically, it's going to direct you to message that particular brand or influencer, whoever it is that's doing the ad, and you can start having a conversation with them. And a lot of times it can be automated. So what I really see happening is that there's a lot of that personalization happening, a lot more engagement. And what's happening in general with Facebook and any kind of social platforms that are successful is that willingness to expand and really shift with how can I become more relevant to people? How can I become more just time-bound and entertaining, I think, is a bigger one too. We all have, our ADD is just getting worse and worse all the time. And Facebook is definitely a part of why. It just keeps serving new things. It keeps changing things up. And in the beginning, we'll kind of not like it because it's like, oh, change. Who likes change? Not very many people. But then we get used to it. And then they change something else again. And it's kind of a constant at this point on Facebook, at least. But who knows where we'll be a year from now.
Let's dig into this for a moment. You said that part of that can be automated. What does that look like?
Yeah. So, I mean, there's a lot of ways to kind of automate. The particular example that I shared with the Messenger ads is there's other third-party tools. And obviously, you can do all this stuff automatically if you have a specific amount of budget in mind. So like ManyChat.com is something that you can use to automate like the messaging process where somebody messages your brand from a Facebook ad, and then you have a very specific set of questions that come out, and the person just has to say yes or no. Like it's very simple. And then it looks like as if they're having a conversation with you, basically, and then you serve them with whatever it is based on how they answered it. So if somebody's saying, okay, I downloaded this ebook that you had, great, here it is. Hey, and then you ask, hey, are you interested in learning more about weight loss for women, or are you particularly interested in maintenance of your weight loss for women? And you say, I'm interested in weight loss for women. Great. And then the automatic message comes out, great, here's a free training I have. And it could be taking people to a webinar where then you're selling a particular program. And it could be the same exact thing that you're sending people to, is just how you're approaching it that's different, because people are they're very selective. People only want to sign up for things that are relevant to them. If it's not very relevant, or it's not really touching on that pain point or a solution that they're seeking, it's not going to really resonate for them, and they're not going to want to sign up and spend their time on it because they're bombarded with things on a daily basis.
Yeah, another reason to make sure that you have a very specific niche. Now, let's talk about, social media. The first word in social media is social. It's interactions between people. Automation is great. I mean, I love it. But there comes a time where it just gets kind of impersonable. Mm-hmm. Someone said recently they're surprised that Facebook did not come out with an autoresponder for birthdays, where you just say, hey, happy birthday, my friend. And then every time someone has a birthday, they automatically get this automated response. It kind of takes away the personal touch. Mm-hmm. Where do you think we're going with this? And what do you tell companies that obviously automation is very cool because it saves you time, but on the other hand, you're kind of losing the touch, that one-on-one interaction?
Yeah, you know what? So here's what I really think. I think that you're like right on the money. And this is a big problem that a lot of people face as they do like the scaling and the automation. It's losing themselves in the process. And I was talking to somebody really recently how she was starting to lose the sight of her why. And why is she even in business? What was the whole point of this? And it's because she was delegating everything and she was, just having somebody else post on behalf of her in her Facebook group. And she just stopped engaging with people. And that's the big reason why she started her business in the first place, is to create relationships and help people. So she got away from that. And because of this, her business was actually suffering. Now, it wasn't suffering on the vanity metric way, like her list was growing and everything was nice, but she wasn't feeling fulfilled because her main core desire of her business was to connect with people and to build relationships. So I think it's really important to understand what is more important to you and whether you have a bigger vision for your business. So the people that I work with, they have a sustainable business in mind. They want to be sustainable. They want, if I'm talking to someone and they already want to make money right now and they're not willing to put in the work to see benefits for like years to come, they're not really my person. Because automation, yes, it can help you moving forward, but you also have to be in the business. That's really truly what I believe, especially for people that are wanting to be leaders and they want to lead people through their message or whatever mission that they're sharing with the world. I think it's really important that they stay in the business so that, well, they know what's going on. They know what their people are talking about, what they need support on. And also they have that energy. Like I think whenever you're automating everything, that energy is kind of zapped through it. And people can tell. Like people can tell. You can tell if you're signing up for something and it's automated. And, it's just kind of like, okay, cool. I don't really think this person cares that much. There's this different kind of energy, right? Yeah. So that's the same thing.
It's kind of like those webinars you sign up for and you're like, well, the live webinar will be on Tuesday at 7 p.m. I'm like, come on, okay. Give me a break. I know it's recorded. You know it's recorded. Can we just get to the, can I see it now? I've actually have time now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's exactly right. And, that's why it's really important to be true to yourself and be honest with people, be transparent with people. So this example of a webinar that you mentioned, yes, it's a very good strategy. And for people that are talking and trying to sell to consumers, people who might not be very familiar with automated webinars, they might totally fall for it. But at this point, let's be honest, like you just mentioned this, like this is such a common thing. Everybody knows there's automated webinars. You're not really live right now. So when you say that, hey guys, we're live and we're so excited that you're here, Mary, Kate, and Joseph, and they're just reading off people, it's like, okay, well, this is obviously a tactic, and it kind of loses that trust a little bit. So I really think that being live and being actually in the business and engaged, I think it really builds that trust as well, because you get to be more transparent.
Yeah, now there's actually software to create Facebook Live videos that really aren't even live. You've seen that at the beginning. Yeah. It's like, this is a Hollywood production. How did they just make this live? Well, you could actually record an entire quote-unquote live Facebook video that is recorded.
Yep. There's all types of things they're doing out there right now.
Yeah, it just, it gets to me. I have a client that is very successful in the health and nutrition area. And he goes, I just feel like I'm not touching base with my clients much. So I'm like, okay, so why don't you touch base with them? Oh, should I send them an email? No. Why don't you call them? Mm-hmm. He's like, well, which one should I call? I said, I don't know, just pick two. So we hung up. He calls them, and literally the conversation went something like this. Hi, Tom. This is Bob, the owner of XYZ Company. I just want to say that I really appreciate you being a customer of ours, and if there's anything that I could ever do for you, this is my private cell phone number. Call me. Mm. And they're like, is this a joke? He's like, no, this is, because they were blown away that the president of the organization would actually take the time. And he didn't do it based on, them being this terrific customer. He didn't even look if they actually even ordered from him, but they were on his list. And he goes, the feedback that he got back was just amazing. He was on cloud 9 for a week.
So the thing that's really happening right now is a lot of the old I could call it like old school strategies are actually coming back. And I'm so glad they're coming back. So the phone call kind of campaign, as you would, like just calling people, and it's not even campaign, you're just calling people. It's so amazing because people don't expect it. And when you do it, it leaves this huge impression on people like, wow, this person really cares. And somebody did this to me and nobody ever does this to me. I mean, okay, so here's what I'll say too. If it's automated and it's very clear that they're leaving a voicemail and it's an automated voicemail, I'm just kind of like, okay, this is like, it just reeks of like telemarketer, not into it. But if someone actually calls you like a real person, even if it's not you, even if it's your assistant or somebody else, just calling like, hey, I saw that you bought, or, I saw that you signed up for this thing. Just wanted to let you know this, how grateful we are, and we hope to support you. It's crazy. And when this happened to me a couple months ago, I was just like, what? And I made a whole post about this because I was just so blown away that they called not to sell me something, to just say that they're grateful and how they're here if I ever need help. And it was just so amazing how giving that was. That felt so just good and warm from them. Another example that I do, so I do this every holiday season, is I send an actual holiday card to anybody that has ever purchased from me. So over the last holiday season, we sent over 500 that were current customers, and I wrote all of them out, and I got these little holiday cards, and I wrote a letter, like an actual handwritten letter. And then, I did scan it, so I had to automate it in some way, but I scanned it and I printed it out and I sent it to everybody. And I got such amazing feedback from people just saying, wow, nobody ever does this. This is such a great touch. Loved hearing from you. And it's an actual letter. So some of the places you could see that I had to scratch something out and write something over it. So it just looked like an actual correspondence I would send to a friend, like a pen pal. And I had so many messages and so many emails from people just saying how kind, like how great of an idea it was, first of all. But secondly, is just a different way for somebody to connect, especially online. You don't really see people's handwriting. You don't really see that kind of level of closeness because we have this device in front of us. And even if we're doing a live stream, we're still separated. When you're on your bed reading an actual letter and you're holding it in your hand and it's this physical thing, it's just a different experience. So I'm a big fan of bringing back some of the old school marketing things.
Great idea. Yeah, I was turned on to a really cool app recently called Bomb. And it's a way to take a short video and then email it to somebody. And it's real. I got one myself and I was like, wait a second, this is Gene. What's Gene sending me a video? And I turn it on and he's like, hey, Thor, I just wanted to say thanks for the opportunity to meet with you the other day. I really appreciate it. And, the very best to you. If there's anything I can do, just give me a call. I was like, that was pretty cool. Now, of course, if everybody starts using that, then it'll no longer be cool.
Right.
But, I think you're always trying to figure out how to mix it up.
Well, that does it for part 1 of the Peak Performers podcast interview with Kamila Gornia. Please join us for part 2 when Thor and Kamila uncover the 3 phases you'll need to identify in order to blow up and scale up your online business. The Peak Performers podcast. We'll see you at the top.
Who's holding you accountable? Many will answer, myself. Well, that only goes so far. You'll do more for others than you'll do for yourself. If you're not getting the results that you want, need, and desire, it comes down to your accountability. If you're ready to stop dabbling and really play full out, head on over to thorconklin.com and under services, check out our real accountability system. This is not for the timid or weak of heart. This is only for those individuals that are truly committed to taking their game to the next level. Thank you so much for listening today. I really do appreciate your time, and I hope you found today's show valuable. If you would like to receive these shows automatically to your phone or to your computer, simply go to iTunes and subscribe. After listening to several of the shows, if you're so inclined, please leave us a 5-star rating, as this helps us reach additional people and spread the message. If you're truly committed to taking your life to the next level and doing whatever it takes to become a peak performer, but something's holding you back, something is blocking your way, and you just can't seem to figure out what it is, send me an email to info@thorconklin.com, and I'd be more than happy to get on the phone with you. We'll schedule a 15-minute discovery call. No obligation, no cost. I absolutely love to hear from the listeners, and if there's something I can do to help, I'd be more than happy to do that. Also, if you found something of great interest in today's show and you want to share that with your friends and family, simply go to my Facebook page, Thor Conklin, click on the episode, hit the share button, and share it on your page. You can follow me at Twitter at Thor Conklin. The website is thorconklin.com. We're constantly adding new free resources, discussing additional tricks, tips, tools, and strategies on how to be a peak performer. Remember, I try to keep these episodes short so you can listen to them during dot time, doing other things, commuting, driving, walking, working out. Decide to be a peak performer in all that you do. And until tomorrow, have an absolutely amazing day.